Hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. We got Nick, last name. Nick. Just Dr. Nick.
Saint Nick.
Old Saint Nick.
Old knick-knack paddywhack.
Give a dog a bone.
Nick.
Here we are, Nick at night.
Nick.
Nick on the live switch. Just leaving it on channel 1 while we talk back and forth. Not switching.
Nick.
Here we go.
Here's both of you.
Here we go.
Do we need to start over?
No.
No, I just forgot why I was here. We're good now.
Great.
It's okay. Sometimes I do too.
Yeah.
Well, it's the last day of 2020. You can get away with whatever you want.
It's true. It is.
Let's burn this bitch to the ground.
Let's burn this effer down.
Bye, 2020.
See ya. Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
Ain't no interest in looking back.
Nope.
None at all. I'm Misty.
And I'm Ike.
For the next 15 minutes,
We're going to debate pop culture.
my background's in music.
My background's in film.
I know the topics beforehand.
And I don't.
We check the internet for the facts.
And ruin it with opinions.
From pop rocks in your lunchbox.
To Happy Meal toys and swatch clocks. Well, since it is the last day of the year,
Yeah.
what do you want to do today?
I want to talk about bananas.
No, you don't.
I don't. I hate bananas.
Great. What do you actually want to do today?
I want to talk about New Year's Eve.
Okay. What are you doing tonight?
Nothing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's staying home.
Are we going live tonight?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think we, after the massive smashing success of our Christmas Eve special, something to
Maybe.
consider.
It is something to think about. Definitely. Yeah, no, I don't plan on doing a lot, but my last couple of years of New Year's, that's really been kind of the theme no matter what though.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of have a viewpoint of New Year's Eve as it's for amateurs.
Really?
You know, New Year's Eve, everyone always tries to talk it up and like, oh, it's going to be the greatest night. We're going to just go out and just do it up and blah, blah, blah. And
This is the best night of our lives.
And it's just, it never is.
Oh.
It's very rare. Like, first of all, it's never going to live up to those expectations. If you're setting your expectations that high, like, it's going to be real hard to reach them.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's a day to stop and to be thankful for the year previous and to put it away and to move forward. I don't need to go out and, like, drink 17 bottles of vodka to prove that I can do that anymore.
Well, some of us do.
Well, enjoy yourself.
I will.
Just please do it 6 feet away from everyone else wearing a mask.
Yeah, I can do it by
And
myself.
in groups of no larger than, I think, like 5.
With
or
the,
3.
With
Or
the windows open.
with the windows open, preferably outside, actually.
Yeah.
In a moving car.
I wouldn't recommend drinking and driving.
Me neither, but
That's why we have Nick.
someone else could be driving you.
Nick
I
will
just said
drive
a
us
moving
around.
car. I didn't say you had to be driving your own car.
Ooh, let's get a bus.
Okay.
Nick can drive the bus.
Yeah. I mean, I just would rather, like, the last couple of years, I'd rather just surround myself with a couple of good friends. And this year, I just really don't even need that. I just want to put it away, move forward.
All right. Here we go.
But what I want to talk about
All right.
is New Year's Eves of past. Because I have not always been this way.
I hope not.
You've spent a couple of New Year's with me.
I have. And there were a lot.
Vegas.
Oh.
Oh, don't forget that.
Well, you know what happens in
What
Vegas.
happened in Vegas? Whew.
Not between us, just to clarify
No,
for the people.
God, no.
Yep.
I want you to tell me what your best New Year's has been and your absolute worst. I want to hear all ends of the spectrum.
Okay. I remember my worst.
Okay.
I was, I'd say 19 because that was my first apartment. Now, I'd already lived on my own with my best friend at like the summer after high school, but this was like me and Jason. What's up, Shorts Dog? He listens to the show. What's up? Special shout out.
Is
Join the
this-
Patreon.
What's
And
his last name?
Shorts Dog.
Oh, that's his real last name.
His last name is Schwartz, and we call him J Dog. So his real name is
Right.
Jason Schwartz Dog with 2 G's.
I thought you were going to tell me it was Jason Schwartzman, and I was going to be really excited.
That's a different New Year's Eve story. So we got this 2-bedroom apartment, and I was like, it's New Year's Eve, bruh. I'm going to throw a party.
Oh, shit.
And this was before social media.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's 90. I think we were partying like it was 1999. Yeah. 99 into 2000, or maybe 2000 into 2001. One of those two.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think it was Y2K. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it 99.
Okay.
I went to the store.
Yeah.
And I got pretzels and put them in a party bowl. And I got Oreos, and I ordered pizza.
You fancy.
And I just said, hey, I'm having a party.
Who'd you say it to?
Not enough people, because Jason had something else to do that night.
Oh, no.
And literally, like, I had friends that lived in the neighborhood. I thought my neighbors were going to come over.
Right.
I thought my friends and this band that I hung out with were going to come over. And literally not a single person showed up.
Oh, no.
Not one.
Oh, that makes me so sad for you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh my God. Like, no one. Like, did anybody even call and say, hey, man, I can't make it?
So finally, one of my neighbors was like, hey, they called me and they were like, hey, dude, where are you? And I'm like, I'm having a party. They're like, no, you're not. Everybody's over here. Come to my house. So I left my party and went down the block to a friend's where all the neighbors were at.
Did they know ahead of time that you were throwing a party and they threw an opposing party?
I just think that the people, I wasn't 21 yet, so the people that were throwing the party were like 27. They had all the booze. It just made more sense to go to where the booze were.
Were you sad?
I was devastated.
Oh.
I was like, the girl that I liked was with her boyfriend.
Oh, God. Just the hits keep coming.
Yeah, it was the saddest.
I'm a super empathetic person. So when someone tells a story like that, I feel like I take on the emotions that it happened to me. And I literally right now have like a pit in my stomach of despair for you.
It's okay.
Like,
What's your worst?
oh gosh, this is, I don't remember the year. I still lived in Kansas. So it had to be before 2006. I would say probably, I don't know, 2002-ish, 2003-ish. It's right when I started hanging out with the first band that I worked for. And I had decided there was a boy I liked. Of course, there's always a boy.
There's always a boy.
There's always a boy that ruins everything.
We should just not say his name this time.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even remember what his name was. Anyways, he lived in this town that was like an hour away. And I was like, okay, if I plan this right, I can drive from Kansas City to this place that's an hour away. I can maybe see that boy and maybe like midnight kiss. But then as soon as midnight strikes, I can hop in my car back to Kansas City and make it back to the house for the party at the band's house. So I drive to this place that it was a bar that a friend of ours owned. Mm-hmm. And he had a girl with him.
Oh, no.
And so like
Did he know that you liked him?
I don't think so. Well, I thought he knew, and I thought he liked me too. Otherwise, I wouldn't have wasted my New Year's to drive and think that we could have our first kiss at midnight on New Year's.
But did you, like, did you call him and you were like, hey, I'm coming to town?
He knew I was going to come.
How did he know?
It was right after, I think it was MySpace. And so we were like MySpace messaging back and forth and stuff. He knew I was coming.
So you were like, oh, I'm going to be in your town.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, no,
And
oblivious.
He brought a
was
girl.
like, oh, cool. I'll be there with my girlfriend.
He didn't say that. He said, yeah, I'll be at the set list, which was the name of the bar.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was super excited. So I got there and I saw him with the girl and I was very sad. And I was like, you know what? I still have a lot of friends that are here. Like, I'm going to just enjoy. I've driven all this way. I'm going to stay and hang out for a while. And because I knew I was driving, I can honestly say I've not been a big drinking driver ever. Mm. Like, I've been fairly vigilant about not drinking and driving. So I didn't drink that night.
Wow.
And about 11:30 Everyone, I don't know, something happened in the bar. Like somebody said something, and all of a sudden, somebody started popping bottles of champagne.
Popping bottles.
Well, somebody popped a bottle and sprayed it all over, and sprayed most of the bottle of champagne all over me.
Oh, no.
At that point, I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Right.
Like, this night is a wash. I'm gonna drive back to Kansas City. I'm gonna swing by the band party, say hello very quickly, and then just go home. I'm done.
Right.
You know, this was the era that you would like stay up till like 5 a.m. because that was normal.
Yeah.
So,
Our 20s. Basically.
right.
Yeah.
So I get into my car. I'm covered in wet champagne clothes now. The boy that I like brought another girl to the party. As I'm driving out of town, I get pulled over by a cop.
Boo, woo, woo.
He walks up and he's like, hey, you have a taillight out. Did you know that? I was like, no, actually, I had no idea.
No idea, officer.
He's like, it smells like alcohol. You smell like alcohol. And I was like, oh, no. I legit have not been drinking. And he's like, okay, sure. He's like, I need you to get out of the car. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
You're
Like, I legit have not been drinking.
You're like, why? Do you have a clothes dryer back there or
Right.
something?
I was like, can I explain? And he's like, oh, everybody's got a story. And I was like, no, really, though, I do. I'm driving back to Kansas City. I was at the set list. Somebody popped a bottle of champagne and sprayed it all over me. I haven't been drinking. And he's like, well, then this test won't be a problem for you, will it? I was like, you son of a bitch. You're right. So I did the sobriety test and passed it, of course. And he was like, all right. I mean, I kind of feel bad because I really was expecting that you were drunk. And I was like,
I'm about to take you to jail.
yeah. And I was like, I'm really not drunk, but I'm having a really shitty night. And now I get to add this to the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. So in my head, I'm like, great. Like another 20 minutes on top of all of this. Now I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to get there and anyone's still going to be at the other party. So I make it all the way back to Kansas City and I swing by that party. That party's over. There's like 3 people left there. And they were not people that I wanted to even say Happy New Year to. And so I just went home and went to bed. It was all terrible.
Wow.
Terrible. It was my worst New Year's. Worst.
I think I forgot to meow. I did, but I got a timer over here.
I figured.
Let's just put another 6-8 minutes on it.
So what was your best New Year's?
It's kind of torn, but I'm going to go with the Vegas experience that we had. I just remembered
Really?
it while you were talking.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was 2010 or
It was
11,
somewhere in there.
but you and I and 2 of our mutual friends decided that we want to go to Vegas.
Yep.
And Vegas was booked up.
Sure was.
The reason we were going is because my male mutual friend, his roommate was performing at Fremont Street.
The old strip.
Yes.
And my friends,
You can say the band because it plays.
the All American Rejects,
Correct.
were playing on in the new part of Vegas. And so we were like, we can combine forces here and have one heck of a good time.
Wait, I thought they played on the other end of Fremont. I'm having a hard time remembering.
Maybe they did, and then the after party we went to was in New Vegas.
It was because they were staying at Mandalay Bay.
That's right.
Because we
and
hung
it
out
was
with
in
them
the
later.
big suite upstairs.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're in Old Vegas, and it's you and I.
It was so cold.
Super cold. And I don't know who drove. I think it might have been my male
It
friend.
was your male friend.
Yeah,
Our male friend.
our male friend. And
Yeah.
we see his roommate perform,
Yes.
which is like we're all looking at each other like we came all the way to Vegas to watch this band.
Right. Right. I definitely
Yeah.
remember being like, I'm going to go see my cool friends now.
Somebody once.
Told me to
Anyway,
Yeah, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
so we go to the other end, and Styx is performing, or Journey, or
It was Chicago.
Chicago.
It was amazing.
And then right after Chicago was the
The
All
All
American
American
Rejects.
Rejects. Yeah.
So at the time, me and our mutual male friend were in a band together.
Oh, yeah.
At that same time, I had straightened my swoopy straight hair.
Oh, you both had swoopy straight
Yes.
hair.
I had a scarf
It was
on.
emo style.
A sweater, and then over the sweater I had a military jacket
Yeah.
and I had skinny girl pants on.
Yes,
I
you
would
did.
say that back in that day I wasn't very fashion forward, but that night
You were that night.
I was crushing it. So
Yeah.
the All-American Rejects leave the stage.
Yeah.
We proceed to turn around and walk because it's at either end of Fremont Street, right? So we proceed to turn and walk towards the middle. We're going to try and find a cab. We're going to try and get out of there.
Because it's cold as shit.
I start getting stopped by people that think I'm the guitar player
They thought you were Nick Wheeler.
for the All-American Rejects.
That's right. I do remember that.
Just
now.
happens to be almost a foot shorter than me.
But I could see the similarities from a distance.
Right.
Especially
So,
the hair then.
Yeah, it was. But once we were standing next to each other and I told him the story, he was like, well, I don't think we look alike at all. And I was
No.
like, we don't.
You don't.
But walking through the crowd, people were
Yeah.
like, hey, can I get a picture? And I'm like, I'm not, but I'll give you a picture anyway and you can tell your
I
friends.
remember that.
And we got all the way up to 30 people.
I had
Had stopped me.
completely forgotten about that until you just said that.
It was the greatest night of my life. Getting stopped 30 times. Hey, are you that guy? No. But I'll take a picture
I'll
anyway.
be this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. I also remember gambling. We couldn't find a cab because it was literally right at midnight,
Yeah, it
of
was
course.
dumb.
And so
Yeah.
we went inside one of the old casinos and gambled on like penny slots for a while, which was super fun. And then we ended up at a big after party in Mandalay Bay.
Which was silly because we were staying out by the racetrack.
Please explain that story.
I think it was the last hotel room available. But so
I think it literally in all of Las Vegas.
if you're looking at a map, it's like if you're driving in from Los Angeles, the first legit casino is Mandalay Bay, and it goes down the strip, and you keep going, you get to Fremont Street. If you keep going past that, you got out to the racetrack where they do big concerts, and then they do like Electric Daisy, Carnival, Festival, EDM stuff. So in a world where we're staying out by the
In a world
where
we're staying.
one hotel room remains. 4 people. One gets lost. Another thinks he's a celebrity. This summer, presenting New Year's Eve, only on ABC Family.
That hotel was so sketchy.
Yeah.
It was like you parked outside and all the doors to the rooms were outside.
Yes.
And you walk in and you're like, oh, a stab murder has occurred in this room.
Correct.
100%.
The fact that the 4 of us made it back together.
Well, that was a feat of
Because
human nature itself.
one of us got lost after meeting a new friend for a short amount of time.
Yes.
And I thought with my track record of getting stopped, boy, oh boy, would it be a great night for me. New lady friends abundant.
It didn't turn out that bad for you.
It didn't, but it wasn't what I thought it was. And we'll leave it at that.
We will. We will leave it at this. I went to bed and put a pillow over my head to block out everything that had happened that entire night.
I was about to mute your mic.
I just wanted to block out absolutely everything.
Party's over, folks.
The party was definitely over.
All right, so what was your best New Year's Eve story of all time? We should have started with best. We started all sad.
I asked you your best and your worst, and
I
you
know.
went for worst first.
I did. That's just how my grumpy ass goes.
I've had a lot of like good ones. There was a year that my friend Jill came out here to visit, and we really didn't have any specific plans. And we ended up like getting dressed up fun and going to our friend Steven's house and just sitting in the backyard around a fire pit. And it was literally just like the 3 of us at midnight. And it was just really relaxing and calm and awesome. And then I had a year that my friend Lindsay and my friend Missy and I went and we wrote down 3 wishes that we had for the future. And we put them in these tiny little metal canisters and went and buried them at Zuma Beach at midnight. And
Did you ever find them?
I know where they're at. I still have the I pinned it on my phone, and I still have the pin.
We should go dig it up, see if it's
Okay.
there still.
Yeah.
Maybe this New Year's Eve we go dig up your old New Year's Eve.
Yeah. You know what? I will say one of my favorites in recent memory, 2 years ago, I was working with Nick Jonas, and we played the ball drop in New York City. And it was super duper cold, and we did the ball drop, and then he had to go over to this hotel and play a private party. He had to do 2 songs after midnight. So we ran over, did those songs, and then I remember like right at midnight, the band and I standing in Times Square, right by the stage, and the ball dropping, and all of us just being super excited and hugging each other. And then I actually, like, first time in many, many years, the band and all the crew and I stayed out until like 5 a.m. at the bar next door to our hotel with the crew from the ball drop. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I have photographic evidence of is at like 5 a.m. taking a picture of a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel sandwich in my bed in my hotel room before I passed out with my head next to it.
Wow.
I haven't done that in a long time. It was one of those nights I just kept having fun, and so I didn't feel like I needed to go to bed.
Right.
And then finally I was just like, I have to go to bed now.
Yeah.
And then I remember flying JetBlue on the way back, and the flight attendant was so cute. He was like, "You don't look like you feel very well. I'm going to bring you a ginger ale and a little grilled cheese sandwich and some tomato soup. And then I want you to lay down and take a nap on the way back."
What? Were you in first class?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So he brought me this little, like a halvesy grilled cheese and a cup of tomato soup, and I ate it, and I curled up in my little space pod thing and slept the whole way. And I woke up and he said, "I have your cookie for you."
Wow.
It's still warm. Like, he treated me like a New Year's Eve princess, New Year's Day princess.
Man,
with my
you really
hangover.
You can't top that.
It was a good one. It was a really good one.
I remember that actually made me remember my actual best one, and I'll wrap it up really quickly.
Okay.
Senior year of high school, the drama department went to Times Square for New Year's Eve.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we stayed at the Wellington, 55th and 7th. So we drank in our room. One of our buddies got a fake ID, so he bought.
Because you were all clearly 21.
Yeah. Well, he wore a trench
in high school.
He wore a trench coat, got a fake ID, bought a bunch of liquor
That's
for us.
fair.
We drank until 11:45. Walked out the front door of our hotel room. It was 2 blocks away. Watched the ball drop. Danced around a little bit, and we're like, "It's cold out here."
Yeah.
Went back in our room, partied all night.
I always say that that's one thing that I feel like I want all of my friends to experience once in their life is the ball drop in New York City.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
It's an experience that you'll never have anywhere else.
Is the Weddington or the Wellington? Is it still there?
I don't think so. I know the hotel, but I don't think it's still there.
I'll Google it right meow.
Okay.
Off air.
Okay.
Well, this is our last episode of this year.
Wow.
What at 114?
Yeah. 114.
What an odd number to end. What an even number to end the year
I was
on.
like, wait, it's an even number.
What an odd even number.
What an odd even number.
That's the name of this episode.
Odd evens.
Even
odds.
Just because I've hit it one too many times on this show.
Yay!
All right, folks. Since it's New Year's Eve,
We'll see you next year.
Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.